On a road trip from New Jersey to Chicago last year, an idea was born to bring to life a mythical gun. Fast forward a year and this ticking clock somewhere down here resembling that of a nuclear bomb will be when that all changes. Because when the clock strikes zero, this collab 1911 shall launch, which means we got a few minutes to entertain ourselves. So with that said, sit back, grab a tasty beverage, and enjoy the show.
You know, I can be at a page for hours.
Everyone, welcome to the show. The The time is now. The time is now, everyone. We've been beating the drum this year that guns are boring in 2025, and we're not going to stand for it anymore. And if you need a case study, suck on that bad boy.
That's right. So here's the deal. You know, listen, I get it. Modern manufacturers, things are a little boring. Guess what? Alchemy Custom Weaponry, not so boring. In fact, about the exact opposite of boring.
Yeah. So here's the deal, guys. We're not BSing you in the intro there. You'll see a little countdown clock somewhere down here right now. And when that thing strikes 0, these bad boys are officially launched.
They're available.
Yeah, and so you'll figure that out. You're a smart fella there. At least I like to think you are. So what was the Q1 resto mod?
Packmeyer Combat Special Tribute.
Combat
really Limited Carry is what it was called.
And then Q2.
The Musoc.
And then Q3. Here we go. Clearly I'm biased, but I think the best one.
Well, and it's like, you know, we are trying to work in not only just some historical guns, but also some pop culture guns. Yeah. And let's be honest.
That's the
This number one. Yeah. Number one pop culture 1911.
Yeah, so we are going to talk a little bit about the pop culture significance of the gun. For those of you that have not seen Face Off, I don't really know what you're doing with your life. Maybe overlanding. That's why you haven't seen. Maybe that's why you haven't seen anything. And so we'll talk about that. We'll shoot them a bit. We'll do all kinds of cool, fun shit. And so anyway, let's start talking pop culture. The day is now. The day is now. I mean, I'm just so excited about this. So guys, before we start really showing off the resto mods and all that kind of stuff, we really need to talk a little bit of pop culture, because I mean, this entire thing is based on pop culture. And for us to sit around the fire here and watch one of the greatest movies of all time, I would like to partake in a tasty beverage. We happen to have our cooler. We will crack a couple of cold ones here.
The only problem is you didn't bring a tasty beverage opener.
I did not.
But
if you had a solution,
I've got a solution for you. Something I learned back in the Quezon back in '69.
Show me.
You ready for it?
Uh-huh.
This is gonna be educational for you. You got a 1911 with a lanyard loop, okay? Pop that magazine out. We gotta go, I don't know, about yay.
Okay.
All right, this is a Swenson, by the way, that went to freaking Vietnam, just to clarify, okay? Then you're gonna take your tasty beverage, lip it up right there.
Wow.
Ka-chow.
Wow.
Lightning McQueen, baby. Look at that. I mean, this is the most expensive bottle opener of all time.
It really is.
But it's also pretty cool. I'll give you that right there.
It genuinely is. I'll take that bad boy, crack that bad boy open for you.
Just so you know it ain't a party trick, just so you know I'm not some sort of, you know, trickster. Kapow. Look.
Dang.
By God.
It is the most thrilling thing in the world.
And yeah, I don't drink, so I'm gonna go back to my tasty water.
What an utter disappointment.
But you know,
it is absolutely.
It is one of those things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's also hydration, everyone. So here's the deal. As much as 1911s are massively used in cinema, there are very few cases of notable 1911s being used in cinema. Now, what I mean by that is, sure, Saving Private Ryan, you're like, well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, GI guns.
It's a GI gun. Yeah. Like, that's not like a notable 1911. That's a A1. But so if you go, I audited every movie ever to have a 1911 in it. And the best list I could come up with notable 1911s, this one pains me a little bit, but, you know, cool in its own right, The Punisher. Okay.
Well, you know what's funny is that actually gets a lot of people into 1911s.
It does.
I'm not saying it's the right way, but I am saying it is a way.
Uh-huh. The original Terminator.
Yes.
Okay, that's noteworthy. And I would say the other one is Heat. Even though not a notable gun, it is still noteworthy.
Officer's gun.
Yeah. Right.
And if you read the book, it really wasn't supposed to be an officer's gun either. So I've always been curious as to why. You know, Al Pacino carried
detective. I mean, it makes some sense.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be carrying his gun that he carried in Vietnam.
Yeah, okay. But
regardless,
though, if you think about that list and then you go Face Off, to me it is non-debatable what the most significant movie 1911 of all time is.
It's a hard one to argue.
It really is a hard one to argue. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna watch a bit of the film here and just sort of commentate, take you guys through it. If you haven't seen Face Off, I would definitely suggest you do that after you finish up the little video here.
Well, and another note real quick is Face Off is one of the few, in my opinion, few 1911s that the guns are as much a character as the character.
Significant. Right, and so we're at the opening of the movie here. Castor getting out. Of course, this is
It is
John
all
Woo
red.
film.
Oh.
The wind's already blowing up
Dude.
the trench coat. Epic.
High angle.
Haven't seen the guns yet. This is just as cool as it gets.
Yeah.
We're keeping the audio low just so, for YouTube sake. And then the reveal. I mean, this is one of the coolest gun reveals of all time. Look at this. Wow. Wow. Fun fact, Galco made those holsters.
But more funner fact, they won't now.
They won't make it for me. They won't make it for me.
The red sunglasses with the gold, the whole red outfit with the gold guns is just
so epically badass.
And Nick Cage was perfect.
This is such prime
Perfect
Cage.
Nick Cage.
I think this is right after The Rock. I think it went The Rock and then Face Off. But just taking a drag of that lung dart. He's got his plane lined up. Now, there's four notable, there's four big action scenes in Face Off, and the first one, in many ways, I would argue to you is probably the main one. So we'll start watching this bad boy here. Of course, the famous line: "I could eat a peach for hours here."
Would you be grateful? I'm gonna be honest with you. That to me is one of the most convoluted lines in cinema. That whole spill about suck my tongue kind of deal.
Yeah.
But it was peak Nick Cage.
This is Nick Cage at his finest here.
And I think this is a great opportunity to talk about aircraft runways.
They're pretty beefy.
Well,
Yeah.
This one in particular is very long.
Yes. Not a short runway. When Crispy behind the camera there first watched this, which was like a week ago,
Sadly.
one of the things I know, this is a little gross, but anyway, he told me, he was like, what's so cool about this, and he's dead right, is this is all happening. This is all real. This isn't a bunch of CGI stuff and everything. It's like, this was in an era where it's like, no, there it is, the gun coming out, threaten the captain. Hammer's back, okay, cool, so it's no issues with that. I mean, it's like, what you're seeing is happening, and that will always be more thrilling than some green screen bullshit.
The other thing too is typically a hero gun is reserved for the hero.
Yeah.
These guns are.
Yeah. The clear star of the show is the villain guns.
Yeah.
I would like to party with Castor Troy so bad. Just like Vegas for a weekend.
I don't think you'd survive.
I don't think anyone would.
I just love the fact that somebody believed that a Hummer could keep up with with an airplane. And look, he found out she was an agent.
Poor
of course,
chick.
She's about to get a real,
Wrecked.
done wrong. I mean,
So we'll talk about this. So some of the debate. So the face-off guns are ported, okay, and there's varying reports of if they were V8 or V12 ported.
Yeah.
Okay, and even we really tried to figure this out, because in doing the reproductions, it was a big consideration. Like, dude, are we doing 8s or 12s? And there is a frame coming up, coming up pretty soon here, where Castor comes and threatens the pilot. And I've found a frame that comes after this where I count 4 ports, which means it would be 8 total. But what's interesting is the 4 ports looked like they were very far forward in the window. So here's what I think where the confusion is the window was actually big enough for V12s, but they only did 8s. And aesthetically, it's actually kind of off. And maybe you can comment. So, I mean, the screen guns, because of the porting, really had to be altered to do this.
We've spoken about this in the past. 1911's, the reason you'd actually don't see 1911's in more movies, because let's be honest, as iconic as a gun is, there really aren't a ton of 1911's in that. By the way, I told you turned the plane.
Yeah, he did, right there.
Just had to prove that.
You did.
But, the 1911's really aren't seen very often in movies. That is because the design of the pistol does not lend itself well to be used with blanks.
Yeah, blanks.
So you'll actually see where stars are used instead of 1911's. The 1911's are used in the non-firing shots, and stars are used in the firing shots.
Yep.
This gun's
Star
been
is a
heavily,
manufacturer, by the way, everyone.
It looks kind of like a 1911. These guns have been heavily modified. You can actually see.
Hang on. We got to pause for this.
Okay,
Fantastic
I agree
moment.
with that.
This is the.
Let's put a pin in
moment.
that.
Here we
Let's
go.
put a pin in this.
Look at
because,
these things.
I mean, like, to be honest with you, as far as cinema goes with 1911s, this might be my favorite.
Oh my God! Look
Pulls
at this.
the dive, boom, boom. What accuracy!
Look at that. If that don't get you going, and Pollux has a VZ61 Scorpion here.
He's just spraying and praying.
Yeah. Of course, Sean Archer Travolta has a Sig 226 two-tone.
MP5 action.
MP5's all over the place.
Whoa.
That's pretty creepy, actually. Look at him, just wielding those bitches, just lighting everyone up.
He has not looked down the sights once.
Doesn't need to.
Of course, they separate them.
Now, you will see in the sort of upcoming, gunfight that happens, you will see the guns cycling, right? Like, you'll actually see them proper cycling, and they would do potentially what modification to allow that to happen with blinks?
Yeah, so they would cut the ejection port forward, and actually some of them would even take out one of the locking lugs in the barrel. This movie gun actually does have a pretty heavy forward cut in the ejection port.
We'll show you the photo here of the actual screen guns.
And that is to aid with cycling of that gun. It's just all these things that they've done, and as you've mentioned before, we think that they reduce the ports because the velocity dropped so much with the V12s that the gun wouldn't cycle correctly. I
think they were meant to be V12s based on the window cut. And then when you see that there's only 4, but there's a big gap at the back of the window, it's like, I think they ran into issues with the 12 and they had to reduce it.
Now, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I've seen one of the guns and they were V12 ported. But it could have been that there was one set of guns used for stills and one set of guns used for, because I mean, that's pretty common.
Possible.
That's pretty common.
Definitely possible.
But regardless,
there they are. You see them. That shot right there. You see them cycling.
And if you shoot 1911s, you can tell that that's just not the recoil impulse of a 19.
They're not moving.
You know what I mean?
They're not moving. Look at that. The double reload.
The double reload gets me.
Look at that. The double reload.
I think that's incredible. The putting both of them together like that.
Look at these shots, man. This is when they knew how to make action movies.
And I love this part right here when he goes down like the wing, and you can tell like that is absolutely not Nick Cage.
No, not even close. And there's classic everywhere. Movie bullshit here, which is apparently they both counted each other's rounds because they're like, well, you only got 1 bullet left. In all of that, they were tracking each other's round count. I mean, it's just so good. And then this switch, the switcheroo right there.
And dude, I'm going to be honest with you. Travolta kills this role.
Oh, he's incredible.
I mean, I think we get really wrapped up in Castor Troy just because as 1911 guys, like he carries 1911s.
But when Travolta goes heel?
Oh, when he turns heel, dude, I think Travolta actually does it a little bit better than even Nick Cage.
It's an amazing performance.
It's scary, yeah. But let's be honest, Travolta's a great heel.
Oh, he was so good, and this is coming off the heels of Broken Arrow, which I know you haven't seen yet. Well, you're going to thank me when you watch Broken Arrow, but that's when he went heel, and that was like a notable.
God, those guns look so good.
They do. That little sheen.
And they did it right too, because you can see the gold guns in the dark, and I believe is this 226 reverse two-tone?
So that's the opening. Okay, now we'll fast forward, go to the apartment here for the sort of
the other actions.
Yeah, sort of the other gun moment here.
I can't believe we're not even just doing the face off.
Okay, so at this point, a prison break has happened.
Right.
Very eventful. Also eventful for the Ruger AC556. This is where it gets tricky, because now Castor's about to get his guns back. Of course, it's not Castor.
Well, right.
And if you haven't seen the movie, you really just have to watch it. But I mean, look at this. And this is the case. This is what we tried to mimic. Was this. Look at that.
Even the money clip is epic.
I know, I wanted to go on. So chiclets are not made anymore. It's actually a vintage candy. And you would be amazed how hard the pursuit of getting chiclets for this video was. Like, legitimately failed multiple times to pull off chiclets. Really bothered me. So guys, that's the gist of these sweet guns right there from the Springfield Custom Shop. They're heavily modified for the film. awesome guns. We know they sold at auction. Don't actually know what they sold for. Maybe that's public record somewhere, but I haven't actually found what they sold for.
No, I haven't either.
But epically cool guns. So now let's actually start talking about our guns. All right, everyone. So now let's really talk about the guns and sort of features, what we did. These are pretty true recreations of the movie guns. I mean, they really are pretty spot on, but I would argue just better, basically just an enhanced version of what the movie gun was. Because these are actually made to fire and do all kinds of cool stuff, but we'll walk you through some features, but maybe we'll tell people how this thing even came about, because it was kind of a funny tale.
It kind of is. So, it's funny enough, when we did our first video together, you and I, okay, back in whenever that was, it was like the top 5 1911's, something like that. You had made a reference to Castor Troy via Face Off with your Cabot kind of inversion.
Oh, yeah.
The inversion rig, right? And I didn't understand the reference because I'm born in 1998, and that movie came out when?
97, I believe.
All right.
I think Face Off was 97.
It's older than me, and I just had never seen it before. And so I didn't get the reference. A lot of people are upset with me.
Yeah.
And so we were on our big road trip last year. One of the most fun road trips that I've ever been on, to be quite frank with you. And we're going down the road, and you kind of proposed, like, what if we did a face-off gun? And I was like, I don't think that's gonna fly. And you kind of said, no, I want to do it. And I think one of the nights...
That night,
actually,
yep.
Nick found Face Off. We put it on in the hotel room, and I watched it. He actually fell asleep, by the way, but I finished it all the way through. And I think you woke up to a text.
I woke up to a late night text.
Like 2 a.m.
Yep.
And it just said, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
I fell in love with Face Off. I've watched it many times since. I fell in love with it, fell in love with the guns. I think they're quintessential, action movie guns.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
especially, as we've mentioned plenty of times, in an era where the 1911, you don't see it a ton in movies in a really hardcore
Notable,
role.
yeah.
These really do stand out. And so, we started kind of discussing what that would look like. And of course, this has been a big project for us, because this
Took a lot.
This has a lot of stuff that we don't traditionally do.
No.
We don't traditionally offer. So this has been a big project for us, and potentially one of the most fun projects that we've done.
Oh, yeah.
So of course, collaboration project with you. You've led the charge on these, and I'm very happy with what we came up with.
Well, it's pretty badass. So why don't we just sort of go, frame, slide. We'll just kind of, break down some of the things we think you guys should know about it. So why don't we go bottom half there?
Yeah. Okay. So the finish is, it's like a gold titanium.
Titanium nitride.
Titanium nitride. Yep. And it's meant to mimic gold, but of course be a lot more durable.
Yeah.
The frame itself, you'll notice that unlike your standard production Alchemy, we do have a scallop there, just like the original gun did. We do have 20 LPI checkering. I believe the original gun did have 20 LPI, but I actually don't know and don't really care, because 20 LPI makes a man out of you. And for all you sissies, it hurts my hands. I don't know. Go do something besides sit behind a computer all day.
Yeah, go overland. Well, and that 20 LPI also balances out those slick grips, because it's not like the grips got a lot of grip on them.
And the stocks on this gun are truly, honestly, one of the premier points of the gun.
Fantastic.
So of course it's the classic gold dragon, but here's the thing: if you didn't know this, we actually have a stock shop at our place. Like, we make our own pistol stocks. So we actually made these ourselves from scratch with ebony wood.
Well, to my understanding, basically digitized the graphic that was on the movie guns, and then just cleaned it up, recreated it.
Well, and again, that wasn't an easy task.
No.
I mean, these took a lot of time and money and patience, but we have an excellent grip shop over there, and let me tell you something. These turned out, I argue they're better than the movie guns.
Oh, 100%. If you really zoom in close on the movie grips, they're blurry.
They're pretty.
They're like, this ain't crisp.
So I think that you'll find that these are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, yeah, they're gold dragons on a gun, but they're Castor Troys.
Yeah. Well,
So
and the little red touch on the item thing is like
I'm telling you, dude, the shop when we talk about things that they've done that just really knock it out of the park on this gun, that to me is one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have a beveled magwell on the bottom here. We have a black 20 LPI flat mainspring housing. Keep in mind that we do have the black accents just like the original gun did. We have the K-hole trigger. Much like the original gun did. So, you know, whereas a lot of times on our resto mods, we really try to kind of say, okay, here's our inspiration, let's do it better, which of course is what we did here. This gun is actually pretty damn close to the actual, you know, gun. As far as resto mods, this is as close as we've ever gotten to actually recreating one of the guns from, you know, our you know, movie or history.
Well, and we'll talk on that note a little later in the video about markings and everything, because the markings are fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
But of note on the frame is the serial numbers.
Right, yes. So real quick, we do have an ambi safety just like the original gun, but the serial number, as you mentioned, you know, this is the first year, 2025 is the first year where we actually did specific serial numbers for the resto mod guns. A lot of the guns you'll see like in marketing are my prototypes, so they actually don't have those serial numbers, but this you'll actually be able to see. And a real deep cut from the movie, to be honest, like really for a person who is a enthusiast of the movie, we went with peach, and then obviously the serial number is through 36 on these guns.
Yeah. Now, I guess make of note here. So 36 total guns. To be clear with you guys, 2 of them are mine. So there's 34 really in reality. Now, just so you guys are aware, in case one day Jake's poor and going to the retirement home and he's got to sell off some stuff, my personal ones are serial number 19 and 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have peach 0, 19, peach 0, 11.
Right. Now, the reason we did 36 is that
you got to buy 2 of them.
Don't you have to have 2?
I mean,
come
like,
on.
I get it. Like, it is an expensive gun. This is an investment for sure. Yeah. But, dude, this is one of those guns you got to have 2 of.
I know. Like, if I showed up to a buddy's house and I didn't know about these, and I showed up to his house and he's like, let me show you something cool, and he pulled out the face-off gun, my first question to him would be, well, let me see the other one.
Right.
And he's like, I got one, and I'm like, oh.
I mean, it's a classically dual-wielded set of pistols.
It's like the dual-wield gun. So it's like, hey, look, you know, we're excited if you get one, guys. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, who's going to nut up and get 2 is kind of really what this comes down to.
Well, and like I said, we specifically did it so that if, by whatever stroke of magic, everyone was like, I have to have 2 of them, guess what? You got no excuses.
Okay, so that's most, and then obviously non-railed. I know some people right now are going like, no light rail. Again, this is a recreation, guys. So no, there's not a light rail on this. Like, you know,
why would?
It would be ludicrous to even want to throw a light on that gun. To be real clear. So we go to the top end, and probably the most notable thing about really the movie guns and this that is pretty damn badass is those windows and those little holes that are up there.
Right. So this is the first factory ported Alchemy pistol.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, if we've done one before, I don't know about it. So I personally have always not been a big port guy. I think on this gun, I mean, this gun, you know, you don't have a choice. But I've kind of stayed away from ports with Alchemy, so this is, as far as I know, the first factory ported Alchemy.
Yeah, they will breathe some fire. And, you know, the question I had heading into this is, I never shot a ported 45, to be honest with you. Certainly not a V8 ported 45. And you might wonder, okay, well, what does that actually shoot like and what kind of difference does it make? So we shall cut over to the range to demonstrate that. Guys, a big shout out to sponsor of today's video. That'd be National Armory. You know what's cool about those guys? They're in Pittsburgh, which, you know, Pittsburgh's whatever. But you can find them online if you're not in the Pittsburgh area. But you know what's cool about them is that they are actually an Alchemy dealer. They started being an Alchemy dealer after we started working together, and they met Eli, you know, the guy with the mustache. They met him in the store, and, you know, he called them race fans. Next thing you know, they're a dealer. So I doubt they will have one of the face-off guns. You never know, but I doubt it, right? But it can't hurt to check. They might have some other cool Alchemies in there, so you can maybe look them up on that. Or if you're like, hey, I'd love to get an Alchemy, but maybe I'd like to get like a 1911 A1 from World War II or something. They had some of those when we were in there because they deal in the used and the old and the new, and it's a little bit of everything. It's that perfect sweet spot of, man, we do it all here. Because it's actually gun guys running a gun shop, and when gun guys run a gun shop, that's how you get good gun shops. So check out National Armor. You guys can plug in a code 1911 there. That'll save you guys 10% off. Appreciate their support. Let's move on with the show. All right, everyone, we're here at the range. And I know you are thinking, where's Super Mario at? He's not here. We had a technical glitch the day of, and we are filming this later on. So what I wanted to talk about was, you know, the difference that the ports make on a 45, because heading into this, I really didn't know. I was like, I don't think I've ever shot a ported single stack 45 1911. And I was really curious just to know with the slow moving round, like how much of a difference they're gonna make. So to go head to head, it's not like you guys can feel what I'm feeling, but I will try to describe it to you the way that a food reviewer reviews their food. This is a Springfield TRP, obviously unassisted, non-railed. This is basically the closest thing I had to the face-off guns. Non-ported, so, well, that's unfortunate. So, man, this is actually really unfortunate. You remember we brought this gun out like a month ago for something? And it had a hiccup? Guys, I can't overstate to you how disastrously our film day has gone today. We have been nearly exploded, literally. Think about, oh, there it goes. A tornado almost just hit us. Look at the shit flying everywhere. Damn. 2 red dots died. A third maybe on the on the fritz. Like now my beloved TRP is like what is happening today? Okay, so there we go. That's what a standard unassisted 1911 and 45 feels like. It's thumpy, right? You just can't get around the nature of what 45 is. It's a thumpy round. Now you grab this sweet piece of ass right here. Dramatically. Okay, my sight's drifted from me on that, so don't judge the accuracy too harshly, but the ports really knock it down. Like surprisingly. Now granted, it's freaking V8 ports, you know, I mean, it should be doing something, right? But I have to admit, I was beyond pleasantly surprised when I shot these for the first time. Like, it really returns like very fast. So we'll run the other girl here for a sec. Peach 19, let's run you for a second. So trigger, obviously super crisp on these, but yeah, I really can't. Like 45 is, you know, not the most enjoyable round to shoot for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. I know Eli will have a heart attack when he sees that we film this without him, and I just said that, but it's like, that's the reality for me. These are really nice shooting guns. Now, of course, you can't really own these without doing a little caster action here. So, all right, Crispy. Currently, basically everything's A-zone. There might be a couple that drifted C there. I can't quite make it out. I think, yeah, there's too high on the C-zone. So if we go dual wielding, which is of course how you would want to shoot these, what are the odds that those sticks and the clips survive?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Not great.
Not great.
Or really good. Either nothing gets hit or the clips definitely get hit.
So that's my thought too, is I'm either gonna hit nothing and that target's gonna look basically identical, or rounds are gonna go all over the place and this all goes to shit and the person probably survived. At the end of the day, there's really only one way to find out. Damn! Okay.
You were really low on all of it.
You know, look, if we had a bigger budget, if we had face-off level budgets and John Woo money around here, I would practice that a lot more and I'd be a lot better at it. I could see that the trend as I was shooting was nothing is hitting, which is why I actually started to try to rotate. I was like, let me try to get some rounds moving on target here. And that's when those 2 low gut shots happened. So that guy survived. At least my sticks and clips survived, so that's good.
You hit here,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Not bad.
Maybe that? Nah, not that one.
It's entirely possible. I mean, there's impacts down here.
Everything's right here, and then it slowly moved over.
But you know what did happen? I looked cool as shit doing it, though. All right, moving on. Okay, so now let's go top in. Talk about some stuff.
So of course we just talked about the ports. You know, and again, first factory reported Alchemy, as far as I'm aware. You know, and let's be honest. I'm not really a big port guy, but these do look incredible. So, you know, that's awesome. We have a blacked out front sight. As best we could tell, that was what was on the original gun.
Yeah.
Probably not your best for sighting picture, but why are you even aiming is my question.
If you got two, you're really not.
You just point both of them out and, you know.
Send it.
I mean, Castor hit plenty of stuff with black front sight.
Oh, we were ready to blast those things at some skinwalkers last night.
Yeah. Oh. And so we come over here, and actually another interesting first for Alchemy, as far as I'm aware, is a bull barrel. So no bushing and full-length god rod. So there are a lot of new things that we did, and that's why this gun, to me, is so special, because we really were kind of pulling a lot of things out that we had never done before. And it's kind of unique, kind of interesting, and it really sets this gun apart. So coming back over, ball cuts, again, very true to the originals. And I'll tell you another thing that really is interesting. We did this French border, right?
That was not really in my, like, I was kind of like, so what is this French border thing that we're talking about? It was just a newer thing to me when we started this process.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't really know anything about it?
Not really. You know, it's like I'm a 1911 guy, but I'm not a true, like, sort of historian, like a true expert on it.
So a traditional French border, and I don't really like that, you know, term French border, because let's be honest, historically, the French haven't had great borders.
They're not good at anything.
If you've got a Panzer, straight through it. So I like to call them American borders. So, you know, got these American borders here, but a true French border historically has went all the way around the slide. That's the earliest French borders. And firstly, they were done as a decorative thing, but also where you see a lot of them early on is with our good friend Armand Swenson. So if you notice that 1969 Armand Swenson pistol I have that we were using as a bottle opener, it has French borders as well. Now, that's because he matted the top of the slide, but you would have overrun onto the side.
That's how you kind
so
of
you'd
mask
have to cut. Yep. And the other thing is, Colt slides traditionally early on were not very straight. So when you polished a flat, it would kind of, the top of the slide where it met the round would kind of do this. So you could cut that French border and make it look a lot straighter. So it you know, performance, obviously there's nothing there, but it really does clean up the gun. It frames the gun really well. It's got a good look. And I'll tell you an interesting thing about this. Typically, people don't French border through serrations, but the movie gun has these kind of flats in the serrations where they French bordered through them, and we also did that as well.
Yeah.
So when I tell you that this project, of course, again, you guided a lot of this, so we have to, you know, give you a lot of thanks for that. But like, we really tried to provide about as close to a real Castor Troy, you know, Springfield custom shop gun as we could.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that is definitely one of the things that really sets this gun apart, in my opinion.
Well, so let's talk markings, because to me the markings are really, like, you guys always actually really do a good job on the resto mod markings. This is pretty notably cool on some of it, because the original guns were Springfield custom shop guns, and you know there's a lot of markings related to that. And it's just cool. How this turned out was really cool.
Yeah. So of course, you know, the markings to me are one of the most important things on a gun. And I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't like that billboard stuff. You know what, man? I do. And there's some that I think look bad, and there's some that I think look good. And I think, you know, traditionally, older guns just had there was just something cool about them. So this being a Springfield custom shop gun, we decided, of course, as you know by now with our Resto Mod series, we usually play on the Colt roll marks, right?
Yeah.
So this is this is actually the second gun now that uses the Springfield kind of roll marks. The earlier Musoc that came out earlier this year would have been the first. But we have the kind of circle with the Alchemy logo behind the ejection port. Oh, and by the way, while I'm on this, we do have a flared ejection port as well, just like the original movie gun. But we kind of this is our take on the Springfield Circle Cross Cannons logo.
Yeah.
So very cool. We actually put Alchemy Armory on here.
Yeah, it's great.
Now, you actually don't know this, but it is hilarious how many times people call us that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is something that I get an email. I mean, they'll go to Alchemy Custom Weaponry or Alchemy 1911, really. But they'll go to Alchemy Custom Weaponry and they'll say, they'll type in something to our website and they'll be like, hi, Alchemy Armory.
Yeah.
All the time. So this is very fitting.
Yeah.
And then forward of that is the Alchemy Custom logo, which is very reminiscent of the Springfield Custom Shop logo, but actually we used and I actually like this a lot better myself, but we used our font, the traditional Dymaxion script font that we use on our logos for the custom, the custom of that logo.
Yeah.
To me, this is a handsome gun, and I'll be honest with you, this side, I freaking love it.
Yeah, it's badass.
Model 1911-A1 caliber 45, just like Springfield did.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I can't explain it.
Oh, it's so cool.
I can't, because honestly, that should look awful. Like on paper, putting Model 1911-A1 Cal 45 on the side of a gun is just like, but on these guns, just really, really helps stand it out. So really fantastic. I love the markings is like the most fun part of what we do.
Oh, it's so cool. Well, that one was basically all fun, and no doubt some headaches at the same time, but a lot of fun to be had on that. Which, speaking of which, so we don't have at this moment in time the factory case that these will come with, but we're going to cut to a clip from the future here to show you what those are like. Okay, guys, the factory case is here. Alchemy really nailed this, and I was hoping, that they were going to do something cool, because I'm like, man, it's such a cool gun, and like in the movie, of course, like, he's got this cool wood box that he keeps all of his stuff in with his drugs and his guns and his cash and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, God, it should, it'd be kind of lame if this came in like a vinyl, bag or something. So here's what we got. We'll show you what the top of it looks like, because I can't tilt this up right now. But basically the grip, or the dragon from the grips, they digitized and then, engraved into the wood. So it really looks cool. And if you had a house guest that came over and saw this, they're going to be like, oh, hey, gangster, what's going on? It's got this cool little latch that like actually properly clicks into place. And then you open this bad boy up and it's like, oh, hello. Is this not the coolest thing in the world? So for those of you, obviously, if you were to get two, if you're manning up and you got two guns like Castor would want, two will fit in a box. I obviously have two boxes because I have two guns, and one of them I just have on a shelf, that just looks cool. There's nothing in it. It's just a display piece. But two guns will fit in a box, or of course you could put one gun in a box. But did a really good job here. I can't claim credit for the text on this. This was actually all Nick over there, but this gold plaque that will also be attached to your serial number. So the box in question here is Peach 19. I've got another box, of course, that is serialized for Peach 11. We've got some script here. You guys can read that. It's just fun, just kind of having fun with the whole thing. And then, of course, got to come with a pill bottle. Get a couple chiclets in there. You guys would be stunned how much effort we applied to getting chiclet boxes. Like chiclets is a vintage candy now, and basically like more desirable than these guns apparently. So, but anyway, we got your pill bottle, we got some chiclets in there, we got the felt lining underneath and or like in here, but on the bottom, so you don't scratch anything up. It's just really cool. And if there's anything that matters in life, it's the small details. And they nailed it on this. We haven't said, and since the countdown is still happening, you haven't seen, MSRP on these is going to be, give or take a couple bucks, $62.50, okay?
Hand-fit gun.
Yeah, hand-fit gun with a lot of custom shit that had to be made for this. So it's like, hey, I get it. We ain't giving them away. But, there you go. That's what it is, Nut up, fella. Okay, so like insult people into purchasing stuff. I know there will be a couple of questions in terms of some of the accessories that you guys seen in the video, so I'll just show you a couple of things, because inevitably I've already answered this question 10 times when people were like, so is this what it ships with? No, it's not. So this was, it was a fun bit, right? I'm just sort of taking you guys onto some BTS stuff at the moment. But basically the idea I had was, okay, Castor had to flee the city, and Pox has got to bring him his guns, but we can't just reveal this thing in the first 3 seconds of the video. It's like you gotta you got to go along for the journey a little bit. And I'm like, all right, what if we had some sort of like nuke suitcase that you were transporting this thing, you know, across the country in? And so this is basically a vintage case that we had sort of decked out. Actually, a couple of our dudes from Patreon actually wound up making this, which is kind of cool. It's actually a vintage suitcase, holds 2 guns. We'd laser cut it, you know, put in the mags, all that kind of stuff. You guys would be shocked. Chiclets are a vintage candy. You can't get them anymore. So this is literally empty. This is the only chiclet case I could find, and it's fucking massive. It's like it's like a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
Right there. So obnoxious little cigarette case. These gold 1911 Syndicate Zippos. No, that's not something you can buy, so don't ask me about that. We do these as Patreon exclusives. Basically, once you're at one of the tiers for a handful of months, you actually just get one of those. So if that piques your interest. In terms of the holster that was being used, so as mentioned earlier in the little pop culture section, Galco made the original small in the back holster. And their custom shop must hate me because they refused to make one for me. So we did like a double shoulder rig from Galco. Really cool. And I mean, when we start talking barbecue guns, I mean, this really jumps high up on that list. So this was pretty slick, and then basically did a couple of mag pouches on each side of the body for a couple of mags. And as we were counting later last night, watching some of the face-off stuff again, and the opening shootout, we're pretty sure he would have actually had to have had the amount of firepower that I have on me, because he reloads twice, which would mean he had 2 mags in the guns and then 2 more mags for each gun. So he would have had 6 mags on him. We have no idea where he had those.
Well, that's the thing, is in no scene does it show
where he's getting
the
these
magazines.
No. But as best we can tell, it's like, yeah, he would have had to add 6 mags. So I'm like, I don't know, this feels like a cool, appropriate setup for something like that. So with that said, there's a pretty neat shot that happens in the film in regards to a mirror in the apartment. So let's cut back to the range and show you a little something there.
What's up, you guys? My name's Crispy. It's not every day that I'm walking through the middle of the desert with a shovel and a trash bag, but it is not as sketchy as it might seem, even though we're out here hanging out with sketchy guys. So I, for the last 5 years, have been a big part of every 1911 Syndicate video that you've seen. I just am always on the other side of the camera. So for this next section, given that it's a movie gun, we're gonna include some movie shit. Jake, tell us where we're at.
Oh, shit.
We're cutting ourselves.
I have glass literally all in my hand.
Did we draw blood? Oh, damn. The cleanup is the least fun about this. Why don't you tell the people what's coming up?
Yeah, cleanup sucks right now. We're trying to recreate a shot from Face Off where basically it looks like, just, you know, whatever at this point. Basically, it looks like I'm shooting right through the camera lens. And you have to set it up with a mirror, angled camera, angled shooter, so that basically at my angle, I'm shooting around right through the center of that camera lens, and it literally looks like I'm just shooting right through the camera.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I wanted to comment on is in the movie, it's kind of more of a practical effect because the environment that they're shooting in has a mirror. So it makes a little bit less sense, but it's still cool to be able to get that shot of someone shooting directly into the camera without ruining any gear out here.
The YouTube way, everyone, is to do more with less. We have very little budget. We certainly apply every ounce of budget that we can to producing videos, but it's like, hey, Hollywood would spend, you know, $1 million to give you this shot. We spent $43 on Amazon.
All right, Jake, I'm not quite able to see the reflection, so you'll need to find the reflection of the camera in the mirror. That looks like a good mark. Do you think you could shoot from that distance?
It's really high on the mirror, so I'm gonna probably back up.
Yeah, you're welcome to do that. So for the most important part for you guys, the viewer, we're just shooting at a 45-degree angle. His point of impact is going to be the reflection of the camera, and we're running at like a 300 millimeter zoom, just so that it's tight enough to crop in on Jake and crop out the edge of the mirror there. And that's kind of the shot. It's pretty simple, but it's cool.
And very reliant on me being accurate.
Yeah, because if you miss, it's all ruined. $43 from Amazon. Okay, I'm good.
Roll. Good?
Yep.
No idea if I hit it, but it definitely shattered that bitch. That much is for sure. Regardless, can I go ahead and wrap this up, Crispy?
Yeah, wrap it up.
All right, here's the deal, everyone. Face-off guns. They are available in whatever this countdown clock says. I mean, we got to be talking like 30 seconds here. The good news is most resto mods, it's kind of like, hey, you could order now. It's probably going to be there in like 4 or 5 months or whatever. Yeah, different case now. This video is done in conjunction with guns being done. They are complete. Okay, so here you go. Go with me, guys. They shall launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, peaches.